Today, we are going to be checking out, in my opinion, one of the best value knives for sub $200, and it came from somewhere I did not expect whatsoever. It came from Megaron knives. This was one of the first Megaron knives that I've actually held, and I was so damn impressed. Have you guys ever come across a knife that you weren't expecting to impress you, but you got it and you're like, holy shoot, what was that? Let me know in the comments below what that was. Let's start off by checking off the body of this knife, and keep in mind, this thing was less than $200. Look at this beautiful bolster that is titanium and this crazy milling going on there. Real deep, real, I don't want to say aggressive because it does not feel aggressive at all, but real texturous, if you will. And here we have this beautiful marble carbon fiber going over. It's basically an overlay on the bolster. Then we have the bolster lock on the other side and the same configuration with a stainless steel insert. This thing's riding on bearings. It does have that slightly popsicle stick look pocket clip, but it fits the design in my opinion. I really don't have a problem with that pocket clip, and you might actually see it fit more once the blade is open. So once again, titanium backspacer, it's perfectly centered. This is a front flipper, and notice on the blade here, there's a fuller on one side so that for us idiots that can't get enough flipping action, that was awful, can't get enough flipping action here, you have the means to do what you want. I'm trying to demonstrate it under camera and it's not going well. It's not the knife, this is me. But as you can see, and the funny part about this is one of the most fidgety freaking knives because of the clicks and the clacks. I'm gonna do it on my microphone. Let's see if you guys can hear it. I don't stab myself in the neck. The acoustics of this are just awesome. So let's check out this blade. This is a drop point style blade with a flat grind and a beautiful satin finish. This is almost like a mirrored satin finish. Looks really, really good. Coming in an M390. Oh man, that's a cool thing. So we got the Megaron logo on one side and then M390 on the other. We have the deep, deep fuller for your reverse flicking pleasure, and a swedge that carries all the way to the tip of the blade. Oh my goodness. This thing is, in my opinion, gorgeous. It's a really good looking knife, very classy, full size, got the clicks and the clacks. It satisfies the urge for the fidget factor. And now you guys kind of see why I think that pocket clip, or maybe you don't, why that pocket clip fits the design, because it's all kind of one line. It's linear because there is no flipper tab, and then you have the ergos. What? You gave me a forward finger choil that you cut into the actual frame. Just like Spyderco, this is the right way to do it because this is the most comfortable way. This feels good, but even choked back, this feels good. This is a very large blade and you're getting a lot for your buck here. Speaking of getting something for your buck, they didn't quite chamfer the edges, but what they did do is they flattened them instead of putting the milling all the way out to the edge, and they almost rounded it off. There's still a ridge there, but it's soft to the touch. And it's almost like a scalloped section here to access the actual bolster lock on this side, which the bolster lock is stupid light. And I love that in bolster locks, I love it. And then it has the scalloping right here with some actual jimping on there. That's not aggressive again, it's very, very joyful. Everything about this knife is just joy. This is one of the coolest failures that I've ever done. No, this is one of the coolest knives that I was not expecting whatsoever. So this knife kind of leaves me in a slightly confusing spot, and the reason for that is it is coming in at almost 8.5 inches with the blade length definitely at 3.5, despite having a full forward finger choil. Super cool 3.5 inch blade that keeps the 3.5 inches due to the forward finger choil. That's awesome. But the reason it's kind of a conundrum in itself is that it is so classy looking, but it's a large freaking classy knife. This is a knife that you could totally carry in dress pants as far as the looks go and the feeling of elegance, but it's big, so just keep that in mind. Apparently I got so excited I ripped off the lid to my scale here. So the weight of this guy's coming in at 4.75 inches for a 3.5 inch blade length or an 8.5 inch total blade. That is not too bad, but it is not quite under that 4 ounce mark that a lot of people like. So the blade stock here is coming in at about 120 thousandths with the behind the edge of with the behind the edge of around 25 thousandths. Now, that's not the greatest, but you know, I actually did have to put a new edge on this when I got it. I wasn't very happy with the factory edge that it came with, but you know, it's not the greatest, but I can tell you in use, in slicing, and it's not a big deal. But I haven't used this for super long periods of time or on anything extremely hard use. This has been used for simple cutting tasks and carried, mainly fidgeted with for the past, I don't know, month and a half. The overall thickness of the scales is coming in at about 0.52 inches or 520 thousandths. And the relatively thin carry profile is coming in at about 1.2 inches. So for $195, this is what you're getting. And I saw it on White Mountain Knives. You can't get it there, unfortunately, anymore. And maybe they'll come back in stock. I'm not sure. But it was $195 at White Mountain Knives, which means you can damn near pick this thing up for $175. It's so hard to argue with what you're getting these days with this. And I'm going to say this over and over because this is kind of where the market's going. Like Spyderco and Benchmade keep going up, and it's leaving the window open for people like Megaron knives to come on in and just wow us and turn us away from those two because, you know, it's hard to just keep going up. The cost of a pair of two used to be, you know, what is it, like $140, and now it's what, $180? It's just crazy. So this definitely is cool that they're coming down in that price range. I get it. It's an overseas made knife. I believe this is Chinese made. But the action is incredible. Like I said, it is a front flipper, super, super easy, but that reverse flick is really where that acoustic whack is, and it's just cool. The ergonomics on this are very, very good in hand. I mean, in the hammer grip, it feels good, and the normal grip that I usually cut in feels great. The carry, it is going to be a little long. This is about a 4.5 to almost 5 inch long handle, and it's coming in at 0.52 inches thick, so it's going to be a little bit thicker than, say, your quiet carry drift, right? But if you want a full-size knife that holds a little bit of elegance, it's going to hold its edge for quite some time because, I mean, sharpening this, it felt like M390. I mean, I know it's all over the place with heat treats, but I can tell you this was definitely harder to sharpen than, say, S35 or S45. And that tells me it's a little bit different than S35, S45, you know what I mean? So all in all, 175 to 195 bucks. This is totally worth it, and I have to check out the Centurion now because this knife has wowed the crap out of me. Now I'm excited to see more. What else can they do? You guys keep seeing me miss that. It gives the knife a bad image. What the hell's wrong with me?